Hello, Jacqueline, are you there?
Okay, well, we're going to get started. So welcome to today's Wyoming Community Navigator Program webinar. We're thankful that you have come to today's presentation. I'm Mandy Bailey, the Education and Advising Director for the Wyoming Community Navigator Program. I'm going to be the facilitator today, working behind the scenes to assist as best I can with any technical difficulties that we might run into, which hopefully we do not. Please monitor the chat. We're going to be posting some helpful links and information. And this webinar is being recorded, and a link will be sent out to all participants about a day after its conclusion. The Wyoming Community Navigator pilot program is funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration and utilizes the Wyoming Entrepreneurial Support Network to reduce barriers all small businesses often face, including those owned by groups such as veteran, women's, and those from rural communities and communities of color. The Wyoming Community Navigator program uses a hub and spoke model to pursue its goals. Through their collective efforts, the hub and spokes provide training, mentorship, access to capital, and access to other resources to help business owners build resiliency and ultimately be the driving force behind Wyoming's economic recovery. So today's presentation is presented by Kyle Trumbull. Kyle's the current program manager for student support services and also an adjunct and former instructor of entrepreneurship at Central Wyoming College. He received his bachelor's in business administration from Flagler College and his MBA from the University of Wyoming with focus in economics. He is a team member of the Wind River Startup Challenge and collaborates with organizations across the state on business model generation and geospatial market research. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Kyle.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Mandy. It's always weird hearing an intro or a bio. And I know I sent you that stuff, but it's always so weird being introduced. It's so formal. So Kaylee and Jacqueline, thanks for being here. We're going to do a couple little tech checks. Make sure you guys are with us. This is a participative, active session. So we want to make sure your audio works, your video works, because we are going to put you to work. So let's start with chat first. Easy intro to it. So just where in the state or the country are you coming from? And what stage is your business? Small, medium, or large? Are you at an idea? Do you already have a product? Are you in the growth stage? Where are you? Prototyping. Oh, Maryland. So how did you, Jacqueline, how do you hear about stuff going on in Wyoming, being from Maryland? Sbdc. Okay, awesome. This is Kaylee Laramie with the line Sbdc. Okay, awesome. Well, listen in, Kaylee, we want participants, you know what I mean? Not just listening in. So we'll go next stage. And Jacqueline, do you have audio? I don't see a microphone on your video, so do you have audio? Okay, shucks. Yep, that's too bad. Much better when we can see people, hear people, and have that live participation. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to give you a brief rundown of the resources that we have for you today, and then we're going to dig into them. The whole point is to get to wrestle with them a little bit, investigate them a little bit, ask some questions, and then go on your merry way, and then hopefully have a cool little roadmap to be able to do some market research. So say businesses fail for two reasons, right? You don't know yourself or you don't know your customer. So one step of this journey is to really, really dig into your values, your beliefs, the type of things that are going to get you through those long nights and weekends at work, and like really your reason for being as a business. The other one is you really need to know your customer. And then you really need to know your playing field. And so the past two sessions, we've looked at your business and what your business model is. Then we zoomed into your customer and who your customer is and their jobs to be done and what you're really offering them. And now we're zooming out to look at what does your business environment look like. So in this, and I'm gonna keep my presentation not in present mode because I'm gonna be going back and forth through all of these tabs on top. So within the business model generation framework, we ask 3 questions, right? Do they want this to prove is your product desirable? Can we do this to demonstrate feasibility? And should we do this? Is this business model viable? The 4th dimension is adaptable, right? Because this is a pretty static model. So you've got to understand that your business is operating within the greater environment. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Who was that? Was that Jacqueline or was that Kaylee? I'm not showing the slides. I forgot to share screen yet. So my bad. Thank you for offering that. I apologize. Okay, now you with me, Jacqueline, thanks for that. Okay, so this was our business model canvas, right? This generic model that says, do people want this? Can we do this? And should we do this? And then we are going to zoom in and out of this model. So here is where this current model is. We zoomed in last week to the value propositions. And now we're zooming out to say, hey, what does your business model look like? This is a visual of it, right? This way to say, hey, this is your business in the middle. And we're looking at 4 different things. And I know you can't see these and can't see the details. You don't need to. But this is just to get this perspective of where in the world is your business operating. And you need to keep in mind certain key trends, market forces, macro trends, and then industry forces. So this is like a pestle or a Porter's 5 on steroids, and asking you to consider a lot of different things when you're looking at if your business model is adaptable. To guide you through this whole process, when you decide to do this with your team, with your company, or whoever, these are all linked to the presentation, so you'll be able to just click and it's there. This is a nice PDF that explains this business model card deck, and just how to go through the entire process. We're not going to go through the entire process today. We're going to give you a preview of these resources. And then basically the idea is, pre-COVID, the idea is you get together, you hang out with people, you do this on a big whiteboard, on a big open space in your office, because more heads are better than one. In the era of COVID, we decided to invent this digital one. So, and this is using a Mindo map. Mindomo is one of the companies that provides mind maps. This is just one option that we built so that people could access this digitally and collaborate from different areas. So whichever way you're going to use this in your organization, there's a digital model for you to use. Same with everything. You go file, make a copy, and you can use it. And then these are the directions to go through that process. So we'll just let you look at and read a couple of those, because I don't want to read everything that's on the slides. But these are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself when you're conducting market research. And there's some primary research stuff you're going to do on your own. You're going to go out, you're going to do customer interviews, you're going to get information straight from those customers. And then there's secondary information that you're going to get from a variety of resources. In my opinion, there has never been a better time to be a market researcher with a computer. It used to be really hard to do research, and now it seems like it is really, really easy. The invention of the internet has changed everything. And there's just a plethora of really awesome resources out there to help people out.
So that is actually Kaylee's job.
Oh,
She is a market
awesome.
researcher.
Yes, Kaylee. And SBDC, Jacqueline, in case you don't know, SBDC does awesome market research. They appreciate it if you send them more specific questions, right? Instead of like, hey, I have a bike business. Can you help me out? You guys want more targeted questions, right, Kaylee? Because that helps you really get granular with the information you're providing.
Yep, exactly. So we're kind of hoping to at least have a goal in mind of, what you're wanting research on. Because saying, I want to do better in my business, that's a little too broad for us to help with. But we can certainly, if you want, we have software that if you send us like a best customer list, we can look at zip codes that have similar customers that kind of match who your current customers are. If you are selling cross country or even just in Wyoming, or if you're a restaurant or something, we can do look at competition, see what similar pricing is in the area and things like that. So yeah, we have a lot of different things that we can do, but you can reach out to Mandy or one of our advisors, and yeah, we can get some research that is completely free, which is awesome.
Cool. Thanks for Kaylee. Thanks for hopping in and playing. Also, just a aside or a quick segue to the ArcGIS stuff. Do you guys use ArcGIS Business Analyst Online yet? And if not, then we need to connect, and I'll show you the capabilities of that program. And whether it's something you guys want to add to the suite of things you offer. It's an awesome program.
Yes, we do have the online version and the desktop version. So got
Cool.
ArcGIS going on.
Love it. Okay, so this is just slide outlining, showing those three things we're looking for, right? These are the links to these docs. So if you want the mind map, it's there. It'll take you here. If you want the Google Doc, which we'll share later, the Google Doc is what you will use. You'll go file, make a copy. It looks like this. And essentially, it's just a nice little checklist. If you're not familiar with Porter's 5, it's a link to Porter's 5. But this just allows you to, in one doc, keep a whole bunch of your research so that it's organized, coordinated, whatever. And nice little bullet points to think about these questions so that you're not having to reinvent the wheel. You're not doing everything on sticky notes. You're not doing everything on a legal pad, right? You've got this copy that you can share with people. So Mandy will share that in the slides. Again, you don't need to go through all of this today, right? You're like, highlight maybe a couple important questions from your business, and then we'll plug them in there. Some will be more applicable than others. Okay, so where can you go for good information besides SBDC? So industry publications are one of my favorite. There are a lot of people that do. Oh, that was Mandy. Cool. Thank you. There's a lot of people that do a lot of work to report on things within their industry. They're passionate about their industry. They care about their industry. So they do really in-depth, whether it's surveys, whether it's reports, whether it's business analysis. They do a lot of different work. So I'm going to click on a couple of these. These are old. They do these every year, so you can update them. I did a bunch of research on the fashion industry, which like most people wouldn't realize or know or get, because I wear the same shirt on Monday, the same shirt on Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. But in grad school, I did a lot of research in the fashion industry. And this CFA, the Global Fashion Agenda, they put out this Pulse publication every year that's like really awesome, really in-depth, has a ton of information, has a ton of graphs. I'm also into drones. So same, you can find from Drone Industry Insights. They do a lot of awesome reports. Some things you'll find people will want to charge you for them. So you may have to dig around to find the free ones, but there's a lot of information from industry for industry that you can research. Whether it's supplier side, whether it's consumer side, It's out there. You just have to be willing to go down the rabbit hole of tabs to just keep exploring, keep finding new search words and keep finding new terms. But industry publications, good place to look. Another place, we call them trusted sources, and you'll see McKinsey listed on here. I don't know how well you can trust McKinsey. I mean, just like you can trust a knife to like cut a vegetable or cut a human. Everyone knows McKinsey are the turds that help the Sackler family sell a bunch of opioids to people, but they are really good at what they do. Whether or not some of their initiatives have been ill-intended, ill-advised or whatever, they do a bunch of really great work. But here's just a list, and then a whole bunch of links to these resources, which I'll just like roll through them so that you can see them, be a little bit familiar with them. But PricewaterhouseCoopers does lots of really cool stuff, lots of good research. So same, click on it, roll through, read what makes sense and serves you, disregard what doesn't. You also, in these reports, you'll find lots of other information that can help you just navigate down the rabbit hole. This COFACE risk assessment does some really cool sector assessments and country assessments. So if your supplier's in a foreign country or if you're in a specific industry, there's a lot of cool information that COFACE offers. Deloitte, again, trusted, you know, use your own judgment, but they're also very good at what they do. They've got a lot of high-paid consultants that do really good work for them. And you can either start from this page, you can like start from insights, or you can just type in whatever your thing is and then throw Deloitte in the search bar, and the things that they have done that are related to that are going to show up. Here's your McKinsey site, same, use them for how it serves you. The Economist Intelligent Unit also has a lot of really good stuff in here. So saying you can just click around, there's country, there's industry, there's risk data, click on it and find what serves you. KPMG, another one, right? This growth from knowledge is a cool resource that I found, and just lots of neat infographics in this one too, because whenever you are telling someone about your business, you're not just giving them facts, you're telling them a story, and visuals are a really important part of telling that story. So why recreate the visuals on your own and do a bunch of hard work if other people have done lots of really great visuals? Use what's out there to help you tell your story.
Kyle, is all of the information on those resources free, or do you have to pay for any of that information?
No, all of these are free. And yeah, that's what makes them cool. Part of what makes them cool, right? Because a lot of small business owners don't have a ton of money to spend on research.
And then it looks like Jacqueline had a question as well.
Our questions for our target customers is attractive for them. Ooh, great question, Jacqueline. So there's a whole method in theory and philosophy behind what I would call customer interviews for that. You're doing an online one or a digital one, but it's customer interview. I guess real quickly, the biggest one is ask for behavior, not intent, because people are really good about saying what they would do, and they rarely follow through on that. So there's this fun article called The Elusive Green Consumer that says, you know, something like 70% of people say that, like, yes, I would support green products or more environmentally friendly products. And about 20% of people only do. So there's this 50% gap in what people say they're going to do and what they actually do. So when designing customer interviews, you want to look for behavior, not intent. Behavior is a much stronger form of evidence. It would be to like back up and do the full suite. I would say, I'd need to see your business model canvas, right? I'd need to see that customer segment clearly identified. I'd need to look at a value proposition canvas and know what your job's to be done and your assumed pains and gains of that customer work. Because basically you're creating all these assumptions or hypotheses about your customer. And then you would go about finding evidence that either supports or refutes that. And you can do that through customer discovery process. And one of the tools of customer discovery is just a survey or a customer interview. So can definitely give some more in-depth information on that. But it would be like hyper specific to who your customers are and what you're actually trying to find out. Is that helpful? Okay, cool. Thank you. And happy, my contact info is on stuff, or you can get it from Andy. Be happy to sit down and like go through that process. And there's, trying to think, did I take it out of my office? Might be at home. So there's this really great book. It's the third book in the whole series of business model generation, value propositions, and it's testing your business ideas. So depending on what kind of business idea it is, there's a whole testing protocol for, you know, cheap and easy ways to go about finding evidence, and then more sophisticated and expensive ways to go about finding evidence. But we'd definitely be happy to work through that with you. Thanks for the question. So census, right? You can get census info. Pew Research Center does a lot of things. City town info, depending on where you are, right? This just gives you some zip code based, area based stuff. Because the ArcGIS program, it is not free. It is super expensive. But same, that's something that we can offer through the college. And it sounds like Sbdc also has that resource too. So if you're looking for really targeted information on your customers, it's there. And I guess even to back up and look at your question too, I also have some other like perfect customer or customer avatar worksheets and templates that help you go through and really think about and identify who your customers are with demographic, psychographic, and like behavioral information. And then we can even get geographic with all those things, which is super fun. Google Trends, if you're familiar with Google Trends, it's a neat resource. Social Mention is one. We can just go like, this shows like a bunch of things that are showing up and popping up on social media. So you can know, right, social media trends happen quickly and disappear quickly. So this is a neat one. This is one of my favorite. I'm like a really visual person, and I think that this resource is really exceptional. Used to be a project out of MIT previously. Now it's housed under Harvard. But it's this Atlas of Economic Complexity. So if you want to know any and all kind of historical or current trends of import, export for various countries, if some of your suppliers or some of your customers are international, this is a really cool tool to zoom out and get some big picture stuff. And then this is maybe the most boring of all of them, the least visual. But if some of your competitors are publicly traded companies, the Edgar company filings is where you go to do research on them. So you can get the 10K, which is their big annual report that they have to disclose everything. They got to disclose what they're spending money on, where money's coming from. A lot of times their strategy or their plan is in there. And so you can do a lot of research on your company by popping into Edgar, but it's not fun and it's pretty boring. Here is oh, nice, Kaylee, we can see you. Love it. Man, I like your awesome chair too. You got the headrests for daytime napping. Cool. This is just an example of a Google survey, because same, right? You can use surveys to get a lot of data. So some of my students did one for drone use. We got 92 responses, right? And we were able to draw some like pretty cool information from this. We want, we sent it out to 400 people. So is our response rate killer? No, it's not. but just it is a cheap and inexpensive way to gather a bunch of information from who you think your customers are. This mostly generic, but a lot of things in here, right? Check this out. There's your link. But just for in general, any type of entrepreneurship stuff, SBA site has got a lot going on. All right, and then last not least, for sure, we're gonna go into some other ones too. But this is the World Economic Forum top link site that they have. And there's a free account, there's the pro account that allows you to do some more things. But again, there's a lot of really smart people putting out really good research. And so use it, right? If the people in Davos use it, it's good enough for me. And again, whatever type of like value judgments you want to put on things like Davos and Sun Valley, it's whatever. But they've got information in here for whatever country, product, industry that you're in. And it's all pretty visual and it's all really current. And that's all super cool. So. Then there's some other things. So we'll just throw some other resources. Oh, these are actually, I already went through all those resources. We went through the industry stuff and the trusted people first. So we just went through all of these. So data, SBA, Pew, Google survey, trends, social mention, and the Atlas of economic complexity. What's unfortunate, Amazon used to have an Alexa marketing stack site that was really, really cool. And what they did, they developed that to help people do better at branding their own products so that they could sell more on Amazon, so Amazon could make more money. But Amazon took the marketing stack offline in like 2020, I believe. But it was previously a really good resource for social media marketing and being able to get the word out, but it no longer exists. So Jacqueline, if you're ready, you can click on this link and you can scroll down and you can just utilize any, oh yeah, is this link in there too, Mandy, already? Okay.
Not yet.
We'll throw this link in here too, because I realized that you can't click on my tabs and be able to open it on the screen. You will actually need the links yourself. But if you want to take a little time to work through what you think are some of the most important questions for you to answer, because some of these questions are going to be more pertinent than others, right? So maybe like focusing on your competitors first versus like, I don't know, regulatory trends. But if regulations are a big deal and that's one of your big quandaries right now, let's go dig into regulatory trends. Or let's dig into what's going to happen when the Fed raises the Fed funds rate by 75 basis points next time they meet, right? We're going to say, what do rising interest rates mean for your business? How's that? Give me a thumbs up or a cool or whatever in the chat if you're on board with that, Jacqueline. Oh man, the thumbs up. I love it. You are tech savvy. And if you want to, you can like outsource some questions to me too if you want. If you're like, hey, I want you, you can tell us, you can put in chat what your business is, and you can outsource some of those questions or one of those sections, and we'll do some digging. And then to be able for this to be usable for you, right, you'll have to go file, make a copy, and then get your own, and you can make all your edits just in here. Thank you, Jacqueline. Don't leave yet. We're still here, right? We're still here. We're gonna let you play around with this stuff a little bit. And maybe I'll log into Business Analyst Online too, because then we can look stuff up for you. Because this is one of my favorite, and I'll show you like a cool little case study that we did with these people who are starting a watch company. So their watch was designed for like college grads who were going to be going in the business world. So they wanted to have a watch, right? To show that they were like somewhat adult, somewhat whatever, but didn't want to spend the money on a super expensive watch, right? And so they, what is it going there? Show all projects, that's why. So we found out who the decision maker was not actually these individuals, but it was their parents or their grandparents who were purchasing the watch. Like the intended customer was still these kids, but the purchaser was the grandparents or parents. So we said, okay, let's identify I think I'm gonna have to find, it's been a long time since I've looked at this. Wasn't tapestry. It was. Oh, Denise, cool. We got a new addition. No, it wasn't in the bullets. Where am I? Kaylee, where am I losing this thing? So it's, you know how you can create different, you can like select all the different attributes or criteria. And so we said, okay, here's who our customer is. They're people with, oh, Denise, you can hear audio, or I can hear myself through your audio. Cool. And in chat, Denise, do you want to let us know where you're coming in from, what your business is, what stage your business is? And then there's, I don't know, Mandy, how should we catch her up? Give her the link in chat, the template, and just explore that doc, ask questions if she has them.
Sure.
Okay. But then basically what we did, Kaylee, was we, you set the criteria and then you set the thresholds. And then we said, okay, the people who are this age, have this many people in their household, have this much disposable income, and work in these industries. We said, where are those people concentrated? And it like shows up visually on the map, which is super cool, but I need to find
Yeah, it looks like your data is no longer in the project. So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. All it looks like you have left is the reports you ran.
No. Interesting.
So Denise is coming from Casper in the beginning stages of a campground.
Of a campground. Okay, very cool. And a campground in Casper, Denise?
Not necessarily.
Okay, campground anywhere.
Yep.
Okay, let's click on campground views and see what data we have for those guys. And if any of those things are potentially relevant. So we'll give you this as just like a little sample of some of the reports and things that this program has. So this was for California, because this is where these people were located. And so within the state of California, can look at recreation expenditures. You can see that they put them in these different categories. They give you a spending potential index, which says like compared to an average, do people spend more or less? And then they give you an average amount spent per person, and then like a total potential market size. So
Is
camp
it
fees.
possible to make that a little larger?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we can go, all right, in the state of California, camp fees are an average of $38 a person, right? People spend an average of $38 on camp fees. Of course, this doesn't break it down into tent camping, RV camping, right? Fifth wheel spots and those different price differentials depending on who you're going for. But just gives you like a starting place. And you can go, whoa, holy crap, there's $500 million in camp fees in California. So just a cool, really cool program that allows for some fun, like, again, geographically, because all data is spatial, right? All data exists somewhere. And so this helps you find where that data is. So if you knew something about your customers, say at a coffee shop, and you knew that your customers would walk 5 minutes to get a coffee, but they won't walk 10 minutes to get a coffee, you can pick your different locations of where you might want to have it. And then you can run an analysis to look at the types of customers that are in a 5-minute walking radius from your business. And I just like, there was never that type of capacity to do research ever before Jack Dangerman and Ezra came along and did a bunch of ARC stuff. So I'm like, I drank the Kool-Aid for sure and just have a lot of fun with this stuff. But I don't know.
And
Sorry.
then we have a question. What does the spending index mean?
So the spending index is, if it was 100, then the spending index is average for customers in this market or in this segment or in this like sector code. So people in California are spending higher than average on all of these things. Let's see if they're, but people in California are slightly lower than average stamp and coin collectors, but higher than average in most things. Maybe that's a function of the place where they are, right? And the prices that are there. But yeah, if something was 100, it would be average. Below 100, the spending is lower than average, you know, compared to the rest of the nation. And then higher is increased percentage. So more money on tickets to parks and museums, almost 30% more than other folks. Cool. Yep, of course. Some other things that are fun. Oh, Denise is out of here. Some other things that are fun are the like market potentials, where you can see where industries have either a surplus of things. You can find out what people are coming to your area to spend money, or are people leaving your area to spend money. You can do void analysis with other places. So you can look at What do other or average towns of this size, what are the types of services and businesses that they have? And you can contrast that with your town and go like, whoa, we have 3 less bowling alleys than most towns our size. Maybe there's an opportunity there. So it's kind of a fun way. You can either go from customer first and into it, or you can go from environment first and then look to extract customer segments out of that. No apology needed, Denise. So you're having issues. I like your Tim the Toolman Taylor neighbor take on your emoticon thing, right? Their neighbor's the guy that just like peeks over the fence. You never know who he actually is. Jacqueline, how's the research process going? You answering any of those questions on the document? And it looks like a microphone showed up for you too. That's fun. Let's see. Yeah, weird. I wonder if when they did like the reset and the upgrade to the new Pro, I wonder if they erased my data from those things. It's all right. It's important to go back and redo stuff too.
So Kyle, for someone interested in opening a campground, how would you utilize some of this information and research?
So depends on what you know about your customers so far, or think you know, and what you want to know. So that's such a big question. So like yeah, Denise, who are you competing against? You're competing against KOAs, you're competing against you're competing against state campgrounds, you're competing against campgrounds that have amenities, don't have amenities. So where I would want to know, like, where do you initially like position yourself in that market? Or maybe that's what you're also trying to find out too. Maybe you want to know, hey, here in Casper, where are all the places that people can camp? And that, I mean, some of these resources might be helpful. Well, they would be helpful to you in that essence to get some bigger picture information. But Google, people say GTS, right? Google is this really, really valuable source to just start asking those questions. And I would use, we have either this part, right, the visual one, or we have, where is it? Too many tabs now. Or we have this one that just says, okay, you have an idea for a business. Your business has to live in a certain playing field. These questions will help you identify that playing field and what it looks like. Are they flat seas? Are they stormy seas? There are a bunch of jagged rocks and sharks around. Or is it you find out, hey, you're the only campground in the area. Good, good for you. I think some just general trends without like doing research and getting some actual like cited stuff. Campgrounds are on the up and up, right? Things are getting more expensive. I won't say old people because I'll be I'll be totally making people mad. But people on fixed incomes are looking for ways to be able to afford retirement. And sometimes that's selling the house and getting some kind of camper trailer, right? And doing something like that. But there are, at least in Wyoming, there has been an increase in campgrounds and RV campgrounds. I can tell you about 3 new ones in Fremont County that used to not exist. I'm sure as a trend we could do, let's go to Google Trends and we'll just type campgrounds, see what we see. Are people searching more or less for campgrounds over time? And we'll go over the last 5 years. Well, so not, at least in this data, nothing super interesting. It's cyclical, right? These people probably aren't searching for campgrounds in December, but they're searching for them in May, June, July, they're peaking. So then, I don't know, RVs. That's what's fun about Google is, or Google Trends, you can just do lots of things. Whoa, that's a fun, interesting spike in searches for RVs. I wonder what's up with that. So you can just use all of these to go down the rabbit hole of trying to find info. Cool. Thanks, Mandy. Yep, absolutely right. And if you want, Jacqueline, you can also you can like pause on that. Oh, cool. No apologies, Jacqueline. It's my fault for not just like pausing and allowing time and putting on like work music so that you could just go through that. The good news is you'll have all these and you can go through it on your time. But we've got just a couple minutes left. So if people want to just ask questions or see anything else specific, we can do something on Business Analyst Online. We can click on any of the other resources. And then I do have, Mandy, will you throw just a quick little survey in the chat? Because I'd like to get some information on how we can improve things and what people want to know about, what they don't want to know about. And it's just a short little, oops. I guess you have to copy it if you want to put it in chat. Short little survey to get some feedback. Understand people's behaviors. So a lot of the industry reports will have consumer behavior stuff. There's like some just generic consumer behavior stuff that you can find, like the Deloitte stuff, the McKinsey stuff. It has a lot of information on consumer behaviors and what trends are, whether it's, are people purchasing on their mobile phone, or are they just looking on their mobile phone and they're purchasing on a desktop? Are people looking at the JCPenney order catalog anymore? So there's lots of places you can go for those types of behaviors. The ArcGIS program has a cool thing. What's the other one? I mean, they do the tapestry segments. Is it Veritas? Veritas does some like similar tapestry segment type things too.
Claritas.
Oh, Claritas, thank you. What's Veritas? Veritas is like truth, right? It's like Latin or something for truth. They do some neat stuff with identifying your tapestry segment who is, of a certain demographic. And then they look at psychographic and behavioral data within that too. So if you know your specific market or a couple of your markets, you can get some behavior info there that says, yeah, these people are more likely to buy environmentally friendly products. These people are more likely to read magazines than they are blog posts. These people are more likely to own a home versus rent a home. So within the programs that Kaylee has access to, you can get a lot of behavioral data. And then same with just some general consumer reports from, I don't know who else puts out like good free consumer reports in the industry. Publications will have a lot of that too, because that's who, they really care about their specific industry. So you'll get good behavior data from those guys.
And then it looks like the survey requires permission to open.
Oh man, what a weirdo. I guess it's probably set on like CWC stuff. No. Should just be a link, shorten the link, copy the link. Put it in chat again. Does anybody, maybe I'll click on it in here. Still needs permission. That was weird. Oh, that's why. Okay, sorry. Now will you see if it works now? And then if it doesn't, I'll resend it, but it should. Let's see if it updates that way. Now you can click it, Kaylee.
Yep, should work now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then we'll put last thing in the chat and make sure people can see this. Okay, perfect. And this is just, again, like a little, I guess it's not an overall, sure, it's an overview, it's a post overview, but just of your business model, the design space that it lives in, and then there's some additional resources to help you go through it if you want more than the 30-page PDF and everything else. But we'll throw that in there so you've got access to that as well. And I think, oh yeah, and my email's down there. So if you have any other questions, you can email and we'll be in good shape. I see there's one response. Awesome. Thank you for completing the survey. Appreciate that. Feedback is huge. Feedback is helpful. And then once we get 2, we'll know we got 100% response rate, which is like super epic. And then that's your, that can be your exit ticket. And of course, the remainder of the time is yours. Please feel free to ask questions. But if you want to have a little break before your 12 o'clock or your lunch or whatever that looks like, thank you for being here and enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, thank you, Denise. You too. Jacqueline, awesome. Responses in. Jacqueline was here for the whole deal. You're a charger. You get 3 gold stars today, Jacqueline.
We also will be hosting Business Classifications Demystified tomorrow at 11 a.m. as well. So if you are thinking of forming an LLC or not sure what is right for you, join us for that also tomorrow at 11 a.m. But thank you, Kyle, for being here with us. We appreciate it. It's been fun to do this series with you, and it's been great. So thank you so much for your time and for doing this with us.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Jacqueline. We'll see you next time. We got more sessions to do, so we'll line them up.
Yes. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.